Hi, everyone. So we are now in our ninth week, and this week we're going to look at the brother-sister duo of Christina Rossetti and Dante Gabriel Rossetti. We'll start with Christina Rossetti. Christina uh, was a very devout Christian who wrote a lot of things, a lot of poetry. She was a poet. She wrote a lot of poetry uh, that was supposed to be didactic. In other words, it was supposed to teach lessons. And so um, in this particular reading you're going to do this week is called Goblin Market, and the parallels between Goblin Market and uh, the Garden of Eden story in Genesis are just striking, right? I mean, they're pretty obvious. Young girls lured into temptation by beastly beings, and the fact that the penalty for giving into this temptation is death. And we could go on and on, right? There are all kind of fruit. These goblins in the Goblin Market are selling fruit. What was it that the serpent tempted Eve to eat in the Garden of Eden? Well, it was the fruit of knowledge, right? So, and we can keep going on and on. And so, Goblin Market is a poem that a lot of people say is one of their favorite things to read in this class. So, I think you're going to enjoy that. Dante Gabriel Rossetti is a very interesting fellow. He he wrote. He was actually a part of what was known as the pre-Raphaelite movement, and he was an artist. He was more of a painter than a poet, but he did succeed in poetry as well. And not only was he an important member of the pre-Raphaelite movement, he was one of the founders of it, and he was one of the major players. Um, and what they mean by pre-Raphaelite is Raphael was a famous painter, and he's known as one of the major influences in the Italian Renaissance. And he did all these idealized paintings that treated religion with idealism and other things like that. Um, what the pre-Raphaelites said was that they liked the older stuff. They liked stuff prior to Raphael, hence the name Pre-Raphaelites. And they wanted to add a realism to the paintings. They wanted to show all the moles, if you will. They wanted to show um, not some ideal of what Jesus would have been like or God would have been like or anybody else. They wanted to show them in all their human detail. They wanted to depict nature as nature is, not nature as people imagine it to be. So um, he uh, was one of the major players in that. And the pre-Raphaelite movement only lasted about 5 years, but it was important and had a major influence on paintings and on poetry and on literature well beyond its lifespan. So you're going to read two things from him this week. You're going to read uh, The Blessed Damozel, which takes the idea of somebody has died, right? So there's two lovers, one lover dies, right? And we always get the story of the lover on Earth. How does this lover on Earth feel, now that he or she is missing the other person? In the Blessed Damozel, Dante Gabriel Rossetti turns that around. He tells the story of lost love uh, through the eyes and through the heart of the dead person. So the lady that's up in heaven, um, pining away for the lover that she left behind on earth, and all the dreams that she has of when he finally dies and joins her in heaven, and what they're going to do when they get there, about how they're going to seek out God and Jesus and how they're going to live happily ever after for all of eternity. So that's kind of a new take on the whole lost love thing. So that's what you're going to look for in the Blessed Damozel. And then you got My Sister's Sleep. And the thing to look at in My Sister's Sleep is the imagery in this poem. Look at how detailed the sounds are. Look how detailed the images that you can see are. Um, you know, and take a look at how very emotional this story is, right? So a young boy is spending Christmas Eve with his mother while his sister is dying. And so that's the sleep. The sleep in this case is literally an eternal sleep. So that's what to look for there. So um, my discussion question for you this week will be: do you believe that well, it's going to be about art, right? And I forget exactly how I word it, but do you think that art should be more realistic or more artistic? Because that's the debate that the pre-Raphaelites were looking at as well. This week, you've got the Rossettis, you've got Brother Dante and Sister Christina, and their contributions to British literature. And I think you're going to really enjoy both of these authors.